Okay, good afternoon once again, everybody, and happy Labor Day. This is Dave Nadler with the National Weather Service here in Peachtree City, going to conduct and lead today's briefing on Hurricane Dorian and expected impacts to north and central Georgia. All right. Okay, so main points. Obviously, Dorian remains an extremely powerful major hurricane that has become nearly stationary over the Grand Bahama Island at this time. Dorian has weakened a little bit over the last 12 to 18 hours, but as I'll show you here in just a second, extremely well-defined, powerful hurricane, devastating parts of the Bahamas. Little change in the overall forecast track since yesterday afternoon. The Hurricane Center, we are expecting a gradual turn to the northwest over the next 12 to 24 hours. And the official forecast track still has the center of Dorian to remain offshore. However, this could change just a little bit, and any slight nudge to the west based on from its current track can certainly change the impacts across parts of Georgia. At this time, we aren't expecting any major impacts to north and central Georgia. However, as you get closer to the coast, things are a lot different. Impacts can occur certainly far from the center. We've been stressing that. I think the big message, even though we're not expecting any major impacts over the next few days across north and central Georgia from Dorian, it's very important to not let your guard down at this point because, again, things could change over the next couple of days, especially as Dorian continues or gradually regains a little bit of forward motion to the west-northwest over the next day or so. All right, latest satellite imagery shows a very well-defined eye that's over the northern part of Grand Bahama Island at this point. Again, over the last 12 to 18 hours, there's been very little movement to Dorian, although it is showing some signs and trends of jogging to the north-northwest, which is good news certainly for folks along the Florida coast. Again, Dorian's still an extremely powerful hurricane, maximum sustained winds 155 miles per hour. That puts it at a high-end Category 4. Yesterday it was a Category 5, but don't get too wrapped up into the 4 versus 5. This is still a very devastating, extremely dangerous hurricane at this point. All right, the official National Hurricane Center forecast as of 11 a.m. shows the center, again, over the Grand Bahama Island, gradually moving to the northwest and then eventually turning to the north and getting very close to the Florida coast by Wednesday morning. And I'll zoom in just a little bit so y'all can see that a little bit closer. Notice the cone of uncertainty, the western fringe of that still takes it into parts of eastern Florida and southeast Georgia. So again, there still remains just enough uncertainty that a slight jog west of Dorian could put it very close to the coast or even just inland, making landfall sometime in the next couple of days. And if that were to occur, obviously the impacts across our area will change quite a bit from what we're advertising at the moment. Speaking of model uncertainty, this morning, looking at the main hurricane models, the general consensus is a lot better than it was yesterday, which is good news. And I think that's the reason behind that is because the system has slowed down enough and stalled. And usually what that means prior to that happening is it starts to get caught up, or we've been talking about this upper level ridge of high pressure over the Atlantic that's going to sort of steer the hurricane to the northwest and north. And before that's going to happen, it really was expected to slow down, and that's what it's doing. So it has sort of been behaving as we've expected it to behave, but again, things can still wobble and change. Just 20, 30 miles on either side of where the current track is right now can mean quite a bit of difference in impacts along the coast and even just inland for Florida and parts of Georgia. So that's the latest on the model consensus. I did want to show the storm intensity. The good news where we're at on the far left is a high-end Category 4. Over the next couple of days, the trends and the models is that it is going to continue to weaken, but it's still going to remain a powerful major hurricane over the next couple of days. That red line that you see going across the chart there is basically the difference between a Category 2, Category 3, which is a major hurricane, versus just a strong hurricane. So we're still, most of the models are well above that red line out for the next 60 to 72 hours. So just wanted to show you that, and hopefully things will continue to weaken, but we're still going to be, no matter what, we're still likely going to be dealing with a major hurricane as it approaches the Georgia coast over the next couple of days. The threat levels, this is for just north and central Georgia. We're not looking at anything major, but as we head into Wednesday, we do expect for our far southeastern counties some wind gusts to start picking up in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range. Certainly nothing crazy that we have to be worried about, but definitely wanted to mention that. The rain flood potential has gone down quite a bit given the latest track and what we've been seeing over the last couple of days. And then the threat for any tornadoes and any outer rain bands is very low as well. Keep an eye on this over the next day or so, but did want to just show this real fast. And then the next graphic shows the from the National Hurricane Center. This is the probability of tropical storm force winds over the next 5 days. Parts of our area in the far southeast counties are in that 20 to 30% range, which has been pretty consistent over the last couple of days. Obviously, as you travel closer to the coast, the probabilities go way up, and that's to be expected given the potential track of Dorian over the next couple of days. This is just showing, based on our forecast for Wednesday and the Thursday, these are maximum wind gusts that we're expecting during that 24-hour period, roughly. Again, subject to change, but we're thinking anywhere from 20 to maybe 30 to 35 mile per hour winds across our far southeast counties, anywhere from Dublin up towards Louisville down to Swainsboro, Vidalia, you're in that, to Abbeville. Those areas, could get a little bit gusty. We'll have to watch that over the next couple of days, and if certainly things could change based on Dorian's track. This is the latest rainfall, not a whole lot. I did want to show the excessive rainfall outlook for Wednesday into Wednesday night is along the coast where there's a slight to moderate risk of heavy rainfall and potential flooding for obvious reasons based on Dorian's current track. Rainfall across our area, anywhere from maybe a half an inch to an inch across our far southeast counties over the next few days. We're not outlooked in any excessive rainfall, and we shouldn't be at this point. Most of our counties are going to actually be dry and pretty warm over the next few days. So, but again, we're just going to have to watch and see how things progress over the next 24 hours or so as Dorian starts to make its turn to the northwest and parallels the coast of Florida. So that's about it. Again, this is a quick summary on what we talked about initially. The main messages is that Dorian continues to be a very powerful hurricane, about 110 miles east of West Palm Beach. It's generally stationary, but it's starting to look like it may be jogging to the west-northwest, which is what we've all been anticipating over the last couple of days it do. Based on the current track, we're not expecting any major impacts to north and central Georgia, but everybody needs to stay vigilant. Don't let your guard down at this point because a lot could change over the next day or two. And based on, obviously, the track of Dorian, a little bit of a nudge to the west, closer to the coast, could have some significant differences in impacts to our area. We will do another briefing tomorrow afternoon at 12:30. We want to continue to do these special briefings until we are fairly confident that just about all of north and central Georgia is pretty much in the clear. And we really won't have a good idea of that until at the very earliest tomorrow afternoon and maybe even into Wednesday or Thursday this week. So hope everybody has a great rest of the day. We'll certainly open it up to some questions, and the briefing graphics and slides can be on our briefing page, which you see the link there on the slide.